You're not falling behind because you stopped trying. The ground keeps moving. That's the whole thing. And it's not one problem, it's five running at the same time, each one eating a different part of what you earn and what you have left after. Note, educational content only, not financial advice. Your situation is your own. You did the work, stayed late, covered gaps nobody else would touch. And what came back wasn't a raise. It was a bigger pile. You became the person who could handle it, so they kept adding. Performing is not rewarded, it's punished. They just kept giving me more and more work until I broke. Burnout. What nobody tells you early enough is that being the reliable one is basically agreeing to be the place where all the work that shouldn't exist lands. And then everyone acts surprised when you stop wanting to come in. One person watched that long enough and stopped volunteering, stopped raising their hand, kept output at exactly what the role paid for, nothing more. They'd watch colleagues who did less collect the same check, sometimes a bigger one, because those colleagues weren't carrying work the company should have hired for. I saw lazy colleagues who performed much less than me being rewarded. So why get involved? Matching your effort to your pay isn't quitting. The number looks fine. $75,000 a year used to mean something. Rent went up, groceries went up, insurance went up. The raise this year was 3%, and inflation ran past that without slowing down. I'm currently salaried 75,000 US dollars, but I am struggling paycheck to paycheck and going deeper into debt. I'm textbook middle class poor. Someone ran the actual numbers for a person in that range. Take home around $3,200 a month. Rent, utilities, groceries, gas, $2 left. Not an exaggeration. $2 sitting there at the end of the month. And a 3% raise on $75,000 is $2,250 a year before taxes, which sounds like something until you remember that your grocery bill alone went up more than that, and you're supposed to feel grateful for it. And most people do feel grateful for it, which is maybe the strangest part of all of this. One person looked at that math and stopped waiting for the annual review to fix it. They left. Found a role paying $18,000 more, which a single job switch can realistically do in a way that staying put almost never does. The shift ends. Something needs to happen. Not food, not sleep. Something that feels like it stops the noise for a few minutes. The phone comes out. Something goes in a cart. The card gets tapped. The second I think about work, my body reacts. Anxiety kicks in, my chest feels tight, and all I want to do is disappear. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a bad performance review and something actually chasing you. It just knows the cortisol is there and it wants it gone. And your phone has figured out exactly how to make that happen for $34.99 plus shipping. One person on $32,000 a year figured out they weren't buying things. They were buying a feeling, something to take the edge off after clocking out. Once they named it that clearly, the pull got weaker. They started putting items in carts and sitting on them for 72 hours before checking out. 9 times out of 10, by day 3, the shift was a memory and the thing stayed in the cart. I realized I was buying feelings, not things. $2,500 saved in 1 year. Same job, same shifts, just a 3-day gap between the stress and the purchase. The raise came through. 3%, maybe 4%. Then the car needed brakes, or a tire, or something else that couldn't wait. And the raise was gone before the month was over. With a 3 to 4% raise annually, I think I would be pretty comfortable in 4 to 5 years. But the car is decaying now. A car breaking down isn't bad luck. It was always going to happen, just on a date nobody wrote down. Treating it as a surprise is what turns it into a crisis every single time. One person making $19 an hour opened 5 separate savings accounts. Car, dog, Christmas, tech, medical. $10 a week into each, even when the balance felt too small to do anything. When a tire blew, they moved money from the car account, paid it, and the week kept going. When my tire blew last month, I didn't panic. I just moved the money from the car bucket. It's a weird thing to feel like an adult for the first time at 34 because a tire didn't ruin your month. But that's where the bar is now, and clearing it still counts. After rent, after utilities, after groceries and gas and everything else that isn't optional, $2. That's what one commenter worked out for someone taking home $3,200 a month. $2 between the paycheck and the next thing that goes wrong. What doesn't show up in those calculations is the slow drain, not the big bill, so those are visible. The $7 here, the $14 there. The free trial that converted 2 years ago and never got canceled because it was small enough to ignore every time it hit the statement. One person counted theirs, 11 services. Together, $185 a month. That's roughly 9 hours of work at the median US wage, 9 hours every month, already spent, already gone. Paying for a password you don't remember and a streaming service you last opened during a different version of your life. They canceled everything, switched to the library for media, moved to a $15 prepaid phone plan. $170 a month stopped leaving the account. 5 problems. None of them fixed by caring more. None of them fixed by working harder. You've already tried that. Tonight, one thing. Open your last bank statement. Find the subscriptions. Write down the total. That number is hours of your life, traded every month for things running in the background while you're at a job that's already taking too much. Cancel one. See what it feels like when something stops taking. That's it.